biggest questions that I get asked is, how do I know which property is right for me? What should I be buying next? It's a huge thing that keeps a lot of investors stuck exactly where they are. And it's something that actually I believe that you shouldn't really be deliberating about too much. I think that actually if you find a property and it gets sent through into your inbox, you should be analysing it there and then and just thinking to yourself, okay, does this work for me? Does it fall in line with my goals? Is this something that I would be really proud and passionate about to make part of my property portfolio? At this point you're thinking, yeah, all right, Natasha, you always say stuff like this to us, but actually, how do I make that happen? All right, well, let me be straight with you. Here's exactly what I would do. Step 1. I would go and find out where the property was. So I would do as much Googling about it as I possibly can and pinpoint the exact location. Then what I would do is figure out how much rental income I could get for that property. So whether it's £600 a month, £700 a month, £500 a month, I am going to go and search for that and make sure that I have got the kind of worst case scenario on rent per calendar month. Then I'm going to do a simple deal analysis and figure out whether actually this property works for me based upon my interest rate, so the interest rate that I could expect to get as an investor. And at the moment, if I'm buying a buy-to-let, I would expect to get around 3% fixed in, maybe less than that, maybe slightly over. That's where I'm budgeting. But I would also then analyse the property to make sure that it fits in with new lending requirements. So that is the stress test of the rent being at least 145% of the monthly mortgage interest repayments at 5.5%. So I work that all out first. Then what I do is I have a look at my net monthly income. So that is the income that I would be expecting to get after expenses. So that is my monthly rent, less the mortgage payments, less any maintenance expenditure, hint, 10% of the monthly rent, that's what I budget for, less any service charge, ground rent, any other utilities that I'm expecting to pay for. You need to do your due diligence on that. Then what I'll do is go, okay, if this seems really good for me, and please note that for me, a minimum amount that I would look at is 3% net yield per annum, minimum. That's what I'm looking at, but I would always prefer to be buying something that's in excess of that. Then what I'm going to have a look at is the area. Is the property near really good amenities? Is it a close walk or a bus ride to the centre of town? Am I near a railway station? Am I near an airport? Who is my target audience? Is it students? Is it young professionals? I need to be making a decision about all of that. If I think, yeah, I see some potential here, then what I'm going to do is I am going to start looking at how much it's going to cost me to purchase the place. Simple as, you work it all out. I'm always working on a 25% deposit, plus the stamp duty, plus solicitors' fees, surveyors' fees, plus any mortgage broker fees, and any refurbishment that I could expect to do. I then work that out and I think, do I have that money? Could I find that money? Could I get return on this? Again, it really is property specific, but it's a decision that you're going to have to make. Then I start looking at, well, if the yield is good, if the rental income is going to be good, well, what's happening in the local area? Is there going to be any growth? Of course, I don't have a crystal ball. That's not something I have. But I can really predict what's going on based upon the local economy and trends that have happened over the last 12 to 24 months. And I use that as a real indicator of what's going to go on in the local area. I also look at developments. What's going on around? What's going on? And I figure out what is coming to the local area. Is this going to make it really affluent? Are people going to be like, yeah, I'm moving there? And I make an assessment based upon that. All of this takes me no longer than 15 to 20 minutes. No joke. I can make a decision on whether a property is right for me within that time. Simple as, so I'm not wasting my time on it. And then what do I do? Well, I actually think about whether this property is going to fit in with my portfolio strategy. Does it do what I want it to do? Is it exciting enough? Is it worth my time now going to view it, find finance for it, get the deal set up so that I can actually do it? Is it something that I'm going to be like, I'm buying that? That's something that you can only make for yourself. I've told you all of the steps that I go through in order to figure out if a property is actually worth buying. And then at the end of the day, it's up to you if it makes your heart sing. You have to know what you're aiming for here. And if you want advice on that, then you've got to tell me what you're aiming for too, so that I can help you make that decision. It's as simple as, but use your gut, do your research, do your due diligence, and all of those steps that I have just spoken to you about. Because that is how you're going to know if a property is right for you.